Good morning, afternoon, and evening, depending on where you're watching. But you are watching the Viewscreen, and today is September 15th. I'm your host, Amy Nelson, and with me,
I'm also your host, Kelvin Wood, and the Viewscreen is your weekly Star Trek magazine show streaming live on YouTube, and we're bringing you news, features, and lots of love for our chosen Star Trek family all across the globe.
well, we want you to know that if you're not watching live, that's okay. Watch us on replay. Go over to YouTube. Or you can also listen to our podcast, and it's found wherever you find your podcast on all the platforms. So just search the Viewscreen.
If you're a returning viewer, welcome back to the show. We really appreciate all of your support. But if you're new here, a massive well done and thank you for joining us. Please remember to hit up the like and subscribe and the alerts button to make sure you never miss an episode. It really helps our show.
Yes, a huge shout out to our live viewers. We love interacting with you. Go ahead, like this episode, subscribe, because if you remember from last season, we had a goal to get 100 subscribers for our YouTube channel. And guess what, Kelvin?
What, Amy?
We reached it and surpassed it by 3.
Hooray! Is it time for a new target then?
Yes. So, what should be our goal for our humble little magazine show?
100 for season 1, maybe 200 for season 2.
Oh my goodness. All right. I'm liking the theme. So please talk about us, share us, subscribe. That's what our goal is. Yeah, 200 for the second season. Now, if you would like to continue the discussion, head on over. If you have a Facebook, we've got a group, the BQN Collective, and our Discord server. All the links are in our show notes. So yeah, join us over there.
Here we go again. Episode 2. How are you feeling, Amy?
I'm a little nervous today. We've got a lot going on. But my gosh, I'm a little jealous that we're not in Nashville this weekend because there is a Star Trek convention.
There is. I think this is the first time Creation have run this particular trek to Nashville. And I know a lot of our good friends, JJ, Christian, they're all over there now having a great time. I've seen some pictures on social media already. So yeah, good for them and good for anyone else who's managed to get over there. It seems strange having a convention going on at this time of year and none of us are there.
Yeah, and that it's not in Vegas, but I'm really happy to see them, branching out. I just hope it doesn't dilute, what happens in Vegas, people will be like, I've already been to a convention. Why do I have to go back? Because it's Vegas.
It's Vegas and it's the biggest and the best.
Yes.
While we're talking about our good friends and Star Trek family, there's a couple of birthdays actually that I'd like to give a little shout out to today. Our patron of the network, Matt Harker, celebrates his birthday today, as well as our very own Rashid, who's one of our regular viewers. I don't know if you're with us today, Rashid, or whether you're off celebrating with the family, but a very, very happy birthday on behalf of everyone at the Viewscreen.
Oh my gosh, yes. Very happy birthday. Oh, that's so good. I'm glad you knew that and talked about it.
I'm just very nosy. I stalk everybody on social media.
Yes.
So I always feel guilty that obviously I'm ahead in the future in the time zone, and you guys literally have to jump out of bed so early in the morning to start our live show. But I nearly didn't make it on time today. I was just sat there. I was catching up on network podcasts on YouTube. I was watching some episodes of the Trexperts quiz, and like when one video finishes on YouTube and it starts another one. Well, it started our episode of the Trexperts quiz from a couple of weeks ago. As soon as you and I popped up on screen, I just thought, oh my God, I'm going to be late for our own live stream. But I just watched JJ's episode of the Trexperts quiz. So that was lovely to see our good friend there.
Yeah.
little badges.
It's queued up. I'm going to be watching it today because I was traveling, which we'll talk about later in the episode. So it's queued up. I definitely want to see. I love watching and even just listening to the Trexperts quiz. So
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
Lovely. Well, shall we see what we've got coming up on the show today?
Yeah, it's a packed house, you guys. Kristin bringing us the news and what's trending.
I'm so excited for this. Returning to the Viewscreen, we have one of our most popular segments from season 1, all the way from the Food Replicator on the network. It's Matthew Dempsey. Hey, Matthew.
And we are also joined by my dear friend, Tim Robertson, who's going to help us taste some wine.
All your favorite things all in one episode, Amy. We do spoil you.
We've got our little food and drink special.
Excellent. Well, food and drink. God, you're killing me. I'm on a diet and I'm not drinking at the moment. I'm vicariously enjoying this. I think it's time we get started. Shall we begin?
Yes, let's head over to the newsroom. Hello,
Hey.
Kristin.
Hello.
How has your week been up there in Canada?
It's been lovely. It's been one of my favorite days to happen. Friday, of course, was Friday the 13th. So I hunkered down on my couch first thing in the morning and just started binging the movies. And I got all the way through to 4, ended 4. And after that, I was like, I think I'm done. And so I'll pick up the next one's on the next Friday the 13th. But I always love that there is such a close tie between those movies and Star Trek. It just makes me chuckle all the time that one of the gentlemen who plays Jason is Tom Morga, who went on to do so much in Next Generation as Jonathan Frakes' leading main stunt double.
Oh.
So yeah, and then it was he did so much stuff on Voyager and Deep Space Nine, standing in with a lot of the big cumbersome aliens. So he was a Nausicaan and he was a Jem'Hadar and all that. So I just absolutely love that weird little connection. So yeah.
Excellent. Good
It's
stuff.
been a good weekend. I've been doing lots of researching online about that gentleman, Tom.
We're keeping you busy.
Yes.
Tell us what you got for us today.
It's a bit of a slower week, so not too much. I'm still waiting for more things to come out about Section 31 and the new Starfleet Academy series. But right now there's not a ton of new stuff. But let's get started on what there is. So of course, happy 57th birthday to Amok Time, which aired on this day in 1967. One of the greatest episodes of the original series, in my opinion. I love the timeline. I love the introduction to the idea of Ponfar. The fight scene is, of course, iconic. So absolutely love this episode. And there are certain things that can't be replicated. There we go. And I think the epicness of this show is one of it. So yeah, happy birthday, Lock Time.
Wow.
If you're looking for a rewatch, go watch it today.
Oh, yes.
And then next we have so an in memoriam, and I'm adding this in as sort of a way to send our love to our Star Wars friends. And of course, James Earl Jones passed away this week. Everybody knows him. Everyone loves a movie that he's been in. And I do love that in some way he is tied to the Trek universe, because in the expanded universe online, somebody used his likeness to create this character of Thomas Crow, and he was the Starfleet Commander-in-Chief. So in some tiny, tiny little way, James Earl Jones was in Star Trek.
Amazing.
That's the
Yeah.
one thing we have. But otherwise, you know, he is of course known for being Darth Vader's voice and Mufasa and all of that. And so the trauma now of actually losing Mufasa in real life
Mhm.
is like sending my millennial self in a spin, and I don't know how to handle it. So but what a life this man led, and we have so much to thank him for in terms of enriching our lives with his craft. So I'm hoping that he's enjoying his journey in wherever he is now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was sad news. Yeah.
Yeah, I cried. I legit
Mhm.
sat and cried. So, but that's life. And he, like I said, it was a long and well-lived one. So
Yes.
yes, we love you,
Mm.
James. Next we have a cute little story about a little town of Killarney in Ireland, and they have started a petition. So they want a statue to commemorate O'Brien, as this will be his future birthplace of O'Brien, which will be in 2328. So just a couple years away. We're getting close. And the town hopes to see this to help their tourism, like a lot of these other statues have helped, because we like to flock to places where these characters are from. So of course Riverside, Iowa with Kirk, and Bloomington, Indiana with Janeway, and then Vulcan, Alberta, sort of my province neighbor, has their little town hall set up. And it's true that the Trekkies do make their pilgrimages to their holy lands, and Killarney is hoping to jump on with that. So last I checked, the petition had 600 signatures, so they're not doing too bad.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, I'm excited for this. The last one that I reported on last season was the Riker. They were trying to get one up in his
Right.
future birthplace up in Alaska. I
Alaska.
haven't seen any updates on that.
Mm.
So I don't know where that one landed, but this one I'm hopeful for.
I wonder if they'll use, well, if they make it, the gold model that you saw on Lower Decks, where he stood behind the transporter console from TNG.
Oh, yes.
That would be hilarious. And I love that tie-in. So, but no, and then I started looking at pictures of the town of Killarney, and I'm like, well, this is just the cutest place on earth, isn't it? So yeah, maybe when I'm over on that side of the pond next year, maybe we'll have to make a little puddle jump to Ireland and go check out Killarney.
Yes. Yeah, so I will be in Ireland before our little trips. So I might have to go there, and I should sign the petition and say, listen, I'm from America and I came here because of O'Brien.
Yes. Perfect.
We'll see if I can throw my weight around, if I have any.
Do you know who I am?
Yeah. Excuse
I'm host of Viewscreen.
I don't know if you know, I'm sort of a big deal. And then last, we do have, of course, the first look at Lower Decks season 5. I love the poster. I love how they're leaning into very much the sort of marketing campaign that was done for the Undiscovered Country when it came out in 91. So it's similar poster. The first preview drop was very much the preview for Undiscovered Country. So it followed the same sort of pattern with how it aired, and I thought it was really, really funny. So what we know so far is the premiere will be October 24th, and it will have a 2-episode drop. Then every Thursday there will be a new episode, so it won't be a one and done binger. We will be parsed out, which is good, because I'll just sit there and watch the whole thing and be done. Yeah. The season finale will be December 19th, so I think that's screaming watch party for us, potentially. And some of the adventures that they've talked about online, they're going to have space potholes, which are sort of like temporal rifts that will be causing chaos in the Alpha Quadrant. There will be an Orion War, and of course, some good old murder mysteries. So I'm both excited and really, really sad. I, of course, love new content, love new seasons. Those are all great. But this is it for Lower
Mm-hmm.
Decks. And I'm not ready to say goodbye to the show. The show is hilarious. It's just
So
such a
good.
nice break from serious Trek, and it gives you that kind of little lighthearted approach, but it was also just so well done, and the characters were so good. The voice actors really did their characters proud. But I'm also excited to see what Tawny's going to be up to next with this new show.
Yeah.
So at least we're not losing her off of our screen altogether. But yeah, I don't get the canceling of this show. I just don't. I don't think it's a smart business move, but I'm not a business person, so here we go. I guess our opinions don't matter, but whatever. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I feel like we've just barely got to know these characters, and they are so important. I just love them, and I too am very sad. Like, plus 5 seasons of a half-hour show. We're not even getting, so it's like it's only 2.5 seasons regularly.
Yeah, and
So
half hour of 10 episodes per season. So yeah,
Yeah.
it sounds a lot, but it's really not.
No, it's not. Really, that by that math, we should have if they were hour shows, it'd be 14. No. If it was the full 23 episodes, and we should get at least 14 seasons.
Yeah.
But they're only half-hour episodes. So, Amy, what's the math of that? 28 seasons?
Yes, bring it. Bring it on.
Bring it on.
Yeah, so if we've had 5 seasons of 10 episodes at 30 minutes, we've had 25 hours of Lower Decks, which is like one season. Of
Yep.
Mira.
So we
Yep.
need 6 times this amount. So
Exactly.
30 seasons.
All right. Well,
Anyway.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Let's bring in Matthew and Tim. See what they think about the news going on this week.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up James Earl Jones, because he was in one of my favorite movies ever. I'm a baseball fan. So Field of Dreams.
Yes.
And his impact in that movie.
Yes.
And I used to ride a motorcycle. In fact, it was a Star Trek motorcycle. Amy has been on the back of it. And one of the trips we took was to Dyersville, Iowa, the home of Field of Dreams. But along the way to Dyersville, there's a little town called Riverside, Iowa, that we happened to stop to. And it was during their event. They had Trek Fest there, and I actually rode the motorcycle in their parade down their little main street. It was a lot of fun.
How wonderful.
Wow.
And then 2 years later, we took it up to, my wife's real understanding with my Star Trek thing. we took it up to Canada, and we actually stayed a couple nights in Vulcan. So
Yeah.
now
Wow.
I got to go to Ireland.
See?
There you
Yeah.
Crazy.
There is when you are able to appease the Star Trek fandom, the money just naturally flows behind. So really,
Yes.
it makes sense for all of these places where anybody may be have their future birthplace to really lean into it.
Yeah,
Lean
neither
we're
town-
there.
Yeah, neither town has a stoplight. I don't think you have post offices. They're little, but they're really cute towns, and they really, they really have grabbed on to the history of Kirk and the history of Spock. It's really, really fun to go.
Yeah. Well, I love that you brought up Field of Dreams, because you told me that, and I was like, my gosh, when I think of James Earl Jones, like you, Kristin, Mufasa, that's the first thing that comes to mind, Lion King. And I put a discussion on Discord, and I'm going to ask you guys, what is the first movie you think of when you think of James Earl Jones? Matthew?
Darth Vader.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
So Star Wars.
Wow.
Kelvin?
Yeah, same. Sorry. I'm a big Disney fan, but it's got to be Vader.
Yeah.
I'm a lot older than you guys, so I go way back. I can't remember. It's just his voice that's always been. It's iconic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lion King.
I think it was CNN.
Mm.
Yeah, this was CNN.
Amazing. Lion King was the first movie I ever saw in the movie theaters.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. And I left there going, are all movies like this? Am I going to feel like this after every movie? As my what would I have been at that age? 6, 7, 7-ish, is I'm just bawling my eyes out over the kitty that just got killed. So anyway, and then I see the comment about King Joffrey Joffer Coming to America. Of course, is such a great movie. I don't know if that movie could be made today, but we at least were blessed with it when we were.
You can say that about a lot of movies in the 80s.
He's also a guest on an episode of Big Bang Theory. And I'm not a huge fan of that show, but that episode is really funny. I rewatched that episode the day he passed. So
I've not seen that. I'm going to go and hunt that one down. Thank you for the recommendation.
It's good.
Supposedly, that's the first time he and Carrie Fisher met in real life, was filming that episode.
Wow.
Don't know if that's true. It seems like, how did they not meet at a movie premiere for Star Wars or something?
Really? Yeah.
Supposedly they met on the set of Big Bang Theory, and there's a little gag between them at the very end, and it's very funny.
Oh, lovely.
I love Jim Parsons and James Earl Jones together. They had really good chemistry in that episode, and it did not take the route you expect with how his character developed, but it was so funny, and
Brilliant. Any other observations, Matthew, from the news that Kristin shared today?
I just echo what y'all are saying. I'm really sad that Lower Decks is ending. The license plate in my car is Boim's, because I just love Boimler so much. So yeah, I'm really sad. But I'm hoping that the last season's great and it goes out, on a high note.
Yeah.
And there will always be the reruns. So
exactly. Oh, I love that.
We love our reruns, don't we?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Wonderful. Right. Well, Kristin, thank you as always, my lovely, for everything that you researched and brought us. We will see you a little later in the show with the rest of our team. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay. Amy, I think I'm going to have to excuse you for a moment. So you have permission to leave your podcast room. Right, guys, so we are going to move on to the first of our special features today. And as we just teased in the intro, I am super excited that we are welcoming back to the view screen for his second appearance, Matthew Dempsey from the Food Replicator podcast here on the BQN network. If you remember this from season 1, you're in for a treat. Amy has joined Matthew as if by magic over in the kitchen. Over to you guys. Tell us, what have you got for us this week?
We really need to get a transporter,
some
sort of animation for when Amy leaves into the kitchen. So when Amy told me we're going to do a food and wine episode, I was super excited.
Yes.
So not intentionally, but once again, we're cooking out of the official Star Trek cookbook. The other cookbooks will get love, I promise. But we're going to do Valerian canapes, which you may remember from the TNG Season 7 episode, Journey's End.
I do indeed. A favorite of Admiral Nechayev.
That's right. And I was perusing Memory Alpha before this week's episode to see, were they in any other episode? What is Valerian? Do we know? But my favorite part of Memory Alpha was the script note, which was they should be strange little crackers. And so that's the picture of them from the episode, a screen grab there. And they look like strange little crackers. I hope mine don't look quite as strange.
They look a little bit like a pizza from.
I know.
It's one of those this is from TrekCore. They're wonderful Blu-ray screen caps. Thank you, TrekCore, for doing that. But it's still pretty fuzzy and hard to see exactly what the food stylist was doing on TNG there.
I will say, though, that unfortunately that teapot does steal focus in any of these photos. It's such a cool tea set.
Yeah, it really is cool.
Great. Okay, well, what can you tell us about Valerian canapes? I seem to remember from the episode that they are incredibly fattening. So are they full of fat, Matthew?
Well, the author of this cookbook did sort of do that. So there's only a few ingredients. This one's going to be super simple. So you can see the picture of the cookbook there on the left, but we're going to use an English cucumber. I'm assuming this is because they're a little less watery than the standard cucumber, a little bit sweeter, so firmer texture, so that's good. The fat is going to be some cream cheese and some butter. Then we're going to have some stone ground mustard, which is just mustard, basically. Some dill, which is an herb I really love. And then to give it the pink color you saw on the slide, it's beet juice. So something I've only ever used for coloring. I don't think it tastes that great. So it's going to make it pink. And then that's it. We're going to put it on a cracker.
Interesting. So it's meat-free.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So it's meat-free.
Meat-free. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're vegan butter and cream cheese, you'd have to have a substitute. But yeah, outside of that, it's mustard, cream cheese, butter, and dill.
Interesting, right?
Yeah, and essentially, you just mash it all up and put it on a cracker. It's pretty simple.
Oh, there's some tricks. This is just
there are some tricks.
Yeah, I'm very excited. This is why we have Matthew, because he's going to give us some hints and tips to make this a very beautiful cracker canapé.
Wonderful. And are you going to follow the recipe traditionally, or are you throwing a bit of flair in it? Is it what's to come?
Yeah, it's going to be exactly as it is in the book.
Following the recipe, I love it. Matthew, while we've got you there, tell us about the Food Replicator. How are things going over there? Have you got any other episodes in production? What have we got to look forward to?
Yeah, so life gets in the way, and I did an episode, and then things happen. But I filmed 2 episodes this week, believe it or not. Amy and I are going to film another one at some point. I'm roping her in. So my goal is to every other week, every 3 weeks, somewhere around there. But I'm trying to get a bunch in the bank. That way, when life gets busy, I don't have to worry about it. Yeah. But I'm not making excuses, but as you can imagine, picking recipes, buying the ingredients, finding time to do it, it's a lot of work. Yeah. I can't just sit down and yap. So I'm still excited about, that was not a backhanded jab. I'm so sorry. Sitting down and jabbing, they have wonderful show notes. Everything's wonderfully planned. I would just sit down and yap, but not a criticism. But a lot of pre-planning goes into the Food Replicator. Then there's the actual doing of the episode. To be honest, watching food shows on YouTube or whatever makes me jealous because I'm like, I can't do the production value. I don't have a nice enough kitchen like these YouTube. I get a little self-conscious, but I'm super excited for it to be back. Look for an episode to drop probably next week, and then it'll be regular after that.
Yeah.
Wonderful. We can't wait. And like any other food show, having things that you prepared earlier is very much on brand for your format. So we can't wait for that. Wonderful. And Amy, is there going to be a golden opportunity in this food segment now for you to be chopping in the background like you were last time? Keeping her busy.
Yeah. We will be assembling. So yes, we'll get our hands busy.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Great. Okay. Is there anything for us to watch cracking on with now, or are we just teasing you up and you're going to get going while we move on?
Nothing to watch. Unless you want to watch me mash butter and cream cheese together, which is not very exciting. You're just going to see us assemble because that's the hard part of this recipe.
It is. Yeah. That's where the finesse comes in. Yes.
Wonderful. In that case, we will let you get going with everything you need to do there. And thank you very much for now. And we will check back on you later. Amy, you can hot foot it back to the studio. Right. Okay. Well, while Amy gets herself sorted, we are going to take a short little break, and then we are going to be back with our next feature with Tim and some wine tasting. So see you guys in a moment.
What shows are on BQN, you ask? Well, here's a rundown of some podcasts you might be interested in. All Good Things, a Star Trek Universe podcast covering all of Trek, hosted by Amy, Mark, Christos, Kelvin, and Kristin. Whether you've got Xbox or Nintendo, check out Bargain Bin Gamer, a YouTube show hosted by Davey, a self-proclaimed gamer who specializes in reviewing and showcasing affordable video games. 2 episodes enter the arena, 1 comes out victorious. Join hosts Joe and Kevin and a guest as they debate which should win the Batleth battle. Grab your popcorn as you listen to Cinema Z, a film discussion and review podcast showcasing films you probably missed, but should definitely check out. Hosted by Mark and Matt. Don your apron for the Food Replicator, where Matthew eats and drinks his way through the Star Trek cocktail and 3 cookbooks. Beam Aboard Galaxy Class, a Star Trek Next Generation podcast covering all of TNG, hosted by Steven. In order to not repeat it, listen to History with the Zilagis, a snippet of historical events from around the world, hosted by Chrissy and Jason. For the newest Trek coverage, check out Infinite Diversity, hosted by Chrissy and Thad. Curl up with a good book and delve into Beta Canon with Peter, host of the online Trek Book Club on Twitter, and his new companion, Trek Book Club podcast. Test your Trek knowledge with Trexperts Quiz, a Star Trek quiz show hosted and written by Davey. Whether you're a member of Starfleet Federation or Planetary Union, go check out Union Federation, covering current Star Trek and the Orville, which we all know is really a Trek show, hosted by Kyle, Kevin, Amy, and Haley. Head over to YouTube and watch the Viewscreen live on Sundays, your Trek-inspired talk show hosted by Kelvin and Amy, with Season 2 starting in September for a 10-week run. Spill the tea with Christos while he discusses current Trek news and events and explores the world of fandom via guest interviews, all with a LGBTQIA+ perspective on What's the Tea Bev. And for our Patreon members, we have the Hive Mind with monthly script readings, Let's Fly, a Discovery reaction show, It's Green, a cornucopia of topics, Amy's Math Moments, a quick look at math moments in Star Trek. We know you have a choice of podcasts to choose from, and we thank you for listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
Welcome back, Amy.
Yes. Okay. Well, let's get to our next segment with Tim Robertson, a very dear friend of mine. We go way back, Star Trek, and this is the man responsible for introducing me and teaching me all about wine. Hi, Tim. Welcome to the Viewscreen.
Hi, Amy. Hi, Kelvin. How you guys doing today?
We're great. So, Tim, it's all your fault, is it?
Yeah, my liver was doing good this last week until Thursday. Then somebody showed up in my house.
I do feel sorry for you having to take out all of those empty bottles when it's recycling.
Well, she took them home with her.
Oh.
I did, and I have them here.
Hey.
Wonderful.
All right. Well, last week we had Star Trek wines on, and that was so wonderful. And it was so great drinking their wines after talking to them. And so Tim randomly was like, well, I have the wines. We should do a wine tasting.
Right. Yeah, I want to say up front, wine is kind of like Star Trek. Everybody has their favorite Star Trek and least favorite, and wine is the exact same thing. You know, to see where Amy was when I first met her in her wine and where she is today is quite remarkable. But everybody changes too. Like I was not a DS9 fan years ago, and now I love the show. So yeah, you know, it's wine is exactly the same way, and it's all who you're drinking with and what the experience is. You know, so. And I'm a certified sommelier, so I've gone through the training and all that. And I've worked with wineries, and when they go to the blending of the wines, if they say, "Well, I want to make a Cabernet Sauvignon," I go in and we'll blend whatever we need, or we just use 100% Cab to get it there. So it's a lot of fun. It's chemistry, but it's a lot of fun to help winemakers make wine. And I'm also currently working with an Italian restaurant in town doing their wine list and wine pairing dinners. So
wine pairings, yeah.
Tim, before I entered into my current profession as into food safety, I studied hospitality management. I was always so fascinated by the sommelier training, and I think the guest experience in a restaurant really makes such a difference when you have people who understand the wine list that is on offer, and when they can talk so enthusiastically about the wine and describe it and pair it with the food. So I think it is such a fantastic skill career role. I'm really excited for this segment. I'm really jealous as well. I'm decided to take a month off alcohol after a very busy summer, so this is the closest I'm going to get to enjoying wine for the next few weeks. So I can't wait.
All right.
All right. Well, the first wine that we tasted was their Andorian Chardonnay. And so if we can play that video clip. So one thing we learned from our interview last week was the attention to detail. And let me just read to you what is on the back of this special reserve Chardonnay. It says, founded in 2161 by an alliance of humans, Vulcans, Andorians, and Tellurites, the United Federation of Planets has long recognized the core principles of mutual cooperation. Grapes vinted for this elegant Andorian blue Chardonnay were grown on the vines traversing rolling hillsides near one of the oceans of planet Earth. Florals similar to those found between the Vulcan and Andorian systems burst forth with a refined acidity that balances ripe citrus aroma. This wine pays homage to the history and mission of the Federation, a dream that became a reality and spread throughout the stars. What a great story.
Yeah.
All right, well, we are tasting the blue Andorian Chardonnay.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers. The color.
It's like nothing I've ever seen before.
I know. I don't know if I can really drink this. This is
Kind of looks
blue.
like that stuff you put in your toilet.
Wow. Well, at least it doesn't smell that way.
No, it smells nice, clean. I don't get any oak.
No, I wonder if this was in stainless.
Probably all stainless.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have a taste. Ooh, interesting. I do get oak on the palate.
Yeah.
It's really sharp.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why is it sharp? It's like something. It's like I was taken back with
Yeah,
it.
let's take a second sip. Usually the second sip gives you a better.
Right.
Who taught you that?
Well, you did, Tim. Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, the second sip it softens, but still, I do get. There's a lot going on in the mouth. I've got a really big mouthfeel on it. It's acidic.
Yeah.
For a Chardonnay.
I would not put it as a Chardonnay.
I'm a California Chardonnay guy. I want the buttery and the oaky, and this is not buttery and oaky.
No.
This is really, I mean, it hits you in the face for a Chardonnay. It feels like it's got a lot of alcohol in it too.
There's, some heat of the alcohol with it.
Does it say the alcohol on here? 14.2. That's, and there's a half a percentage point. My nose goes off at 15%.
Oh.
When the nose gets hot, when it's 15, and that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
This is a hot Chardonnay. This is not really a refreshing drink.
No, but it's definitely has its purpose. Like,
it's blue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, I would not put this as a Chardonnay. I'd put it more like a Sauvignon Blanc.
It's acidic like a Sauvignon, but it doesn't have the. I would bet it's not 100% Chardonnay. It's got something else, because in California, when you bottle wine, it only has to be 75% of that grape.
Right.
So this can only be 75% Chardonnay, and they could have put some Sauvignon Blanc on top of it too. You never know.
Right.
So this is not your typical California Chard. If you like buttery, oaky Chards or even stainless Chards, this is not it. It's an interesting wine.
Yes.
But it's unlike any Chardonnay I've ever had.
Yes. And the color.
It's hard to get over the color.
Again, it's hard to get over the color. It doesn't ruin the flavor, but it definitely messes with the brain.
It does.
Yeah.
It really does, yeah.
Wow.
On to the next one.
Cheers. All right.
I have questions.
Yes.
I might have answers.
Right, okay. I don't know if you will. Right, so do you think the colour affected the characteristics of the wine apart from visually it's blue? Do we know what they used to colour the wine? Was it just a random E number?
Food coloring is what they said.
I mean,
Yeah.
they got the Andorian color spot on. I'll give them that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
that was my first question. But going into universe, I know it's a wine, but when I think of the blue Andorian drink, it's what they drink on Enterprise. And I think they just call it Andorian Ale. And Shran and Archer say how strong it is, how powerful. So I'm wondering if that is one of the reasons it's over 14% ABV, to maybe give it that kind of, it's not supposed to be easy drinking. It is supposed to be quite heavy. So
it's not easy. It's not easy drinking. No.
No.
And I think the color bothered Amy more than me.
Yeah, I think it just messed with my head.
Yeah.
So then I think that affected the palate for me.
Yeah, my brain, when I think of Chardonnays, I think of a nice golden color.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, and did you get blue tongue after drinking it?
No, we didn't drink enough of it.
Wonderful. I don't know if you guys have it over in the States, but over here, any British people watching will probably have made the same mental connection. They have what we would refer to as Alco Pops, which is very, very sugary alcoholic drinks. And there's a brand called WKD Wicked, and Blue Wicked is served in nightclubs in bottles, and it looks exactly like that. It's what 20-year-olds drink when they first start drinking alcohol. It's, I don't want to say it's alcohol for children, clearly, but it's so a lot of people will have flashbacks of having hangovers on Blue Wickeds after a night out in a nightclub, seeing that wine. So would you drink it again?
I have another bottle, but I'm going to just keep it as a souvenir. The way I'm going into buying, because I bought all the Star Trek wines, and going into it, I was buying them just as a novelty, because I know they cared more about the packaging, which they should, than what's actually inside the bottle. But there are wines that we're going to taste later that, extremely impressed with. So
yes. So let's, go ahead.
This one let off not well for me.
So let's see our next tasting, and I have this one here. It's our Klingon blood wine.
Can't wait for this one.
All right, so this is the Klingon blood wine, and as promised, we have decorked it, and there is a Klingon proverb on there. I don't know how to read Klingon. So we put it in the Discord server. So we'll see if we get an answer to see if anyone knows this Klingon proverb.
How do you know they're going to be right?
Yes. Well, I know because we have smart listeners. Yes. So I wanted to show you the bottle of wine. I don't know if you can see it, but there is this, like the metal sheathing on it is very, very beautiful. And there's a lovely story on this bottle of wine. I'm going to use my little flashlight here. All right, so it says, since the dawn of the Empire, Klingon mythology speaks of captains and generals carrying barrels of their favorite blood wine into battle to celebrate their victories. For more than a millennium, honor, duty, and tradition have been the cornerstones of Klingon culture. Blood wine has long been part of the Klingon ethos and played an important role in uniting the great houses. Blood wine is ritually consumed by warriors being inducted into the Order of the Batleth, utilizing the same ancient methods as the great Klingon vintners. The grapes used to create this traditional blood wine were cultivated to produce strong fruit, vibrant colors, and bold flavors. Fill your goblet and rejoice. As Klingons have said for centuries, celebrate, for tomorrow we may die.
Very good.
Right.
These bottles are pretty amazing.
They are. They really are.
Now this blood wine is a Cabernet Sauvignon. It's a 2018. It's one of the few wines they actually put the actual date and not a star date on the wine. And it's from Lodi. And Lodi is actually the #1 grape producer in all of California. Most people don't know that. They do a lot of Zinfandels. You see a lot of old vine Zinfandels from Lodi.
Which is the only place in America that has ancient vines? Wait, ancient vines is only in Lodi.
In Lodi, yeah.
For the Zins. All
so
right.
Here we are. We're going to try the Klingon blood wine. Nice nose.
Yeah.
All right, let's try it. I
like it.
Yeah, there's a good mouthfeel to it.
Yeah.
A little bit of tannins on the side.
Yes. Oh, I was just saying that. Yeah.
I'm a Cabernet Sauvignon snob.
Yeah.
Because I like really, really nice caps. Well, this is a very drinkable cap.
Yes. Yes.
It would go really good with food, I think.
Very much so.
It's very heavy.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot going on. But it's really got, the tannins are really nice. It's really dry.
Yeah.
I mean, my mouth is salivating after 2 drinks. I want to drink more.
Yes, but there's still, and I'm more a fruit forward, and the nose gives the fruit, but it's not fruity at all.
No, there's no fruit on this.
Yeah, it's just that little bit in the nose.
Yeah, I get a lot of pepper on the taste.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice.
Well, and they did say that this was a chewy cab.
This is definitely a big wine. Yeah.
And that color is gorgeous.
Yeah, it's really, if you can see that, it's really pretty.
Okay, so it looks like you enjoyed that one a little more than the first.
A little bit more. Yeah, my like I said, my bar for a cab is pretty high, but it could be an everyday drinking Cabernet Sauvignon. But I think you really need to have food with it though too, because it overpowers a lot of things. You got to be careful.
You said you would pair it with food, Tim. What kind of foods would you pair that with?
A red meat or a nice red pasta sauce, something heavy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, pasta sauce. I could see that.
Like with meatballs.
It'd
be really good. Yeah, because like I said, the acidity really made my mouth water, and you need something juicy to counteract that when you're pairing wines together. You know, pairing wines is a whole. Pairing wines. I guess
maybe a little black pasta spaghetti would be like garg, and then you could have the full Klingon meal experience.
There you go. I think that would be make them wiggle a little bit.
So now the cork had that Klingon proverb, and I did put it out to our listeners on Discord, and we got an answer. I'm so excited. We really have the best listeners. So Coffee Lock said the translation yields, quote, "Listen to the voice of your blood." Now, I like that proverb. That totally sounds Klingon because you want that heritage, that lineage. So thank you, Coffee Lock, on our Discord server. I truly do appreciate knowing the Klingon proverb.
Yeah. Do we have any, is that a guess? Is that a correct answer? Do we have any fact checking on this, Amy?
I had no one say otherwise, so I'm going with it.
Right, lovely. I'm trying to think myself, have I heard Klingon proverbs in Star Trek? I seem to remember one from Wrath of Khan, where Khan says the old Klingon proverb, revenge is a dish best served hot. So that's my guess. But again, I don't know if it's right or not. I've not seen the label. So yeah, maybe we could get onto the Star Trek wine guys. Maybe they have it on their website and we could see who was correct there.
Right.
There you go. Call Mary Chief.
How strong was the wine, Tim? Was it as strong as the first one?
Oh no, it was a big wine. It really was a big wine. Yeah, it was to me, going back, the Chardonnay, I look for balance in a wine where you have sweetness and acidity. The Chardonnay was acid. I didn't have any sweetness in it at all, which is basically a turnoff for me. This was more of a balanced wine, but it was a big. I mean, it would. When I say it had a good mouthfeel, it filled up my mouth. I felt it all over my cheeks and stuff. No, but it's a drinkable wine. Yeah.
Yeah. Did it say on the bottle, Amy, how strong?
No, I couldn't see where the percentage was.
Interesting.
I don't think it had the alcohol.
Maybe that's why they don't sell it in the UK. It's a legal requirement over here to state that.
Huh.
Interesting, Tim, that you mentioned about how much you enjoyed the tanning, the feel. That's usually a bit of a turn off for me personally on wine. So it shows, doesn't it? Everyone's different.
You look for different things in wine. You know, it's being a somm. When someone says I have a Zinfandel, I want you to try, right away I go to my benchmark Zinfandel. Okay, this is what I'm judging it against. I do that with the Cab. I do that with Riesling. I do that with everything else. So if you put Chardonnay on the label, you know, it's better look and smell and taste like a Chardonnay.
Love that.
All right. Well, our third wine is the Chateau Picard. So let's play that video. Well, we are here trying now the Chateau Picard. And this is Bordeaux. All right. So there is a quote on this label, and I don't know where it's from, but I'm sure our smart listeners will know. So it is from Captain Jean-Luc Picard. I don't know if this...
Bluesky?
I don't know. Come on now, Mr. TOS over here. I don't know if this is from TNG or the new Picard series, so you let me know. Quote, "They say a vintner's history is in every glass. The soil he comes from, his past, hopes for the future, so to the future." So, Captain Jean-Luc Picard's family roots are in France's premier wine country, where the Picard family cultivated the land and crafted premium French wines since late 20th century. Chateau Picard was well known throughout the galaxy. This elegant bottle you now hold in your hands was created in honor of the legendary Captain Picard and was created at the actual Chateau Picard in the heart of the Saint Estèphe, I'm so sorry, France, by its third generation winemakers. This wine is 85% Cabernet Sauvignon and 15% Merlot blend.
And that's an actual Bordeaux blend. So that's what's nice. And this wine, the label says it's from 2221, but it's actually on the back. The French can't lie on their labels. So it's actually from 2018. So this is another 6-year-old wine.
Yeah.
It's, you know, nice. So let's give this a smell. I'm very particular on my Bordeaux's.
Yeah.
Because they are the highest level of wines for me.
Oh, wow. So I mean, look at this color. It's brown. Deep. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Let's give it a smell.
I love that nose.
Leather.
It is.
I got the leather in here. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see if we get any dirt.
Okay.
Oh my. Full mouthful.
No, there's the earth right there.
Yes.
Oh, it turned off.
No, it didn't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's the earth right there.
Yeah, it's a definite Bordeaux. Bordeaux's got a very distinct flavor and taste. I get leather. I get a little green vegetable, like maybe a little bell pepper in it.
Mm-hmm.
Some dark fruit, like a fig type thing. You know?
Oh yes.
Yeah. It's very layered. It's very.
It is. It hits you at different times.
Yeah.
So it's like complex. This would be so good. I was thinking like a lamb chop.
Yeah. This is a Bordeaux. You know, when I first discovered Star Trek wines, I was concerned because I saw it like 90% marketing, 10% what's in the bottle.
Right.
And for some of the wines I've tasted that are that way, that's exactly what they are. You're buying the artwork on the outside. This is a Bordeaux.
Right.
In a Bordeaux bottle. This is a nice wine.
Yeah. This was wine before it was ever known to be Picard.
That's just true. Well, it came from Chateau Picard in France.
Exactly.
I mean, when they first started talking Chateau Picard, I went on the internet and I said, oh, there is a Chateau Picard. And I think in STLV probably 2016, I brought a bottle.
Yes.
And it was skank. It was terrible. I didn't even like it. But it was before marketing and Star Trek got involved. I bought a bottle of it, got it shipped over from France. So
right. I remember that. Yes.
I brought like 4 bottles and I can only drink 2 of them.
I know. You were like trying to give it away.
I think I still have one in my cellar.
Oh my God.
We should do a taste test on that.
Oh my gosh.
No, maybe not.
No. Why ruin a good thing? Because this is a good thing.
This is a really good wine. I really like this. Its price point's high, but part of it you're paying for Jean-Luc Picard on the label.
But this is a good wine.
Yes.
Cheers.
Wow. Well, it looks like you have a favorite.
Yes.
Yes.
That's true. That was a very, very nice wine. And it was interesting because after we did this, I had invited a lot of my wine friends over to the house to sample them. And we opened it, 5 or 6 more bottles later during the evening. and they all, their opinions, I think, pretty much matched ours. Don't you think, Amy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, 6 people coming over, and then we still had wine in the blue bottle.
Yes.
But it was fun to see other people's opinion of them too, that we weren't just,
Yeah.
I can't imagine you being swayed just because it's got the word Star Trek on it, but it's interesting, almost like an independent variable, or the test of people who don't have things to do with Star Trek who would taste it and give an opinion. So that's really, really interesting.
Yeah, well, they all said, "Oh, it's a Chardonnay Blue," and they all had the same reaction Amy had on that. But it's that might have affected them. I know it probably affected Amy right off the bat, but I try to block that out. But color means everything on a wine too. That's tells you how good the wine is too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we again have smart listeners, and the quote on that Chateau Picard, Joel found the interweb says it's from a deleted Nemesis scene. I knew I liked that quote.
Worst Star Trek movie ever.
The best TNG movie.
Oh, Tim, don't go there.
I have many times, trust me. The thing is, Amy, I also have other Star Trek wines. So maybe in the future we can do this again. Let my liver recover a little bit, and then you come back.
Yes.
We'll run this through again. But it would be a lot of fun. I really enjoyed doing this.
Yeah, it was.
Fantastic.
Well, let's bring in everyone else and see if they've tried any of the Star Trek wines, and let us know in the chat if you've had a chance to taste them. Kristin.
They don't ship up here.
Oh, so that's right.
No, I haven't had the wine yet, but I have had blue wine before. When I was young and broke, Barefoot wines were my go-to because they were like $7 a bottle. And they had a blue one that came out one year. And I think it was probably just more the fact that it was Barefoot wine than anything, that I was just drinking to get drunk, right? I wasn't there to explore it and really enjoy the taste of the wine. But I'd be interested in trying that Chardonnay. I don't like oaky Chardonnay. It's my least favorite white. So if this is more of a Sauv Blanc inspired Chardonnay, I might actually really like it.
See?
Yeah. If it's very citrusy forward, very tart, that's my favorite kind of wine.
There you go. Very good.
Yeah.
What about
Matthew?
you, Matthew?
Had oh, go ahead, Tim.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I have had Star Trek wines. Watching this video reminded me, because Amy and I were talking pre-show. I've had the alcohols, the vodka, there was a whiskey, but I have had Chateau Picard. Unfortunately, as I've gotten older, wine just gives me killer headaches and I just can't drink it. So I remember the Chateau Picard being good, but like I had to nurse that over days, so I wouldn't get a headache. But it was for someone who doesn't drink wine, I thought it was fine.
Okay. And so which alcohols did you try? The Romulan
ale, so just blue vodka. And then wasn't there like I don't remember what the whiskey was. Was it Jim Kirk whiskey or Scotty whiskey? I don't remember what character they tied to it. But
yeah, I've got the Jim Kirk whiskey. They have that.
I think it was that one. And it was fine. You mix it with something and it's good. I didn't drink it straight.
Oh no, you gotta have it straight.
I think I made old fashions with it. That's my favorite drink.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I'm interested. One question I didn't get to ask the guys last week is how do they filter their wine? What is the mechanism that they use? Do they use clay? Do they use like fish skin, like some places do? Because for some people who are, specific with their diets, it is important to realize that, if you're drinking certain wine and you are adhering to a certain dietary restrictions, you may need to make sure that your wine does not utilize animal product. So, because I know we were just talking about that with the canapes coming up. So sometimes that really affects who can drink the wine as well. So my friend who's a winemaker up here, he only uses clay. So I just stick to his wine, and I know it's safe for me, but yeah, it's I didn't realize that fish was utilized to filter wine. That was, and that when I learned that, I was like, oh no.
I have to say, I only booked this episode because I thought I'd be tasting wine. So I am very disappointed that there are no wine samples here for me to have. Just FYI.
But it's 10 a.m.
Just a bunch of empty bottles.
Hey, it's Las Vegas. We can be drinking at any time of the day.
That's right.
Right. All right.
It's funny. I did wake up at 6 a.m. this morning thinking, oh, am I going to be drinking wine at 9 a.m.? I was like, I'm ready for it. I can do it.
Well, you don't go to Amy Nelson's house for a cup of tea, do you? Let's face it.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, last season we had our cocktails at 9 in the morning.
You did.
We did. Well, thank you so much, Tim. That was so much fun. Yeah, I think we need to have you come back for next season, and we'll try some more.
Sounds good. We'll do it. Tim. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.
Right, guys. I think then it is time we allowed Amy to make her site-to-site transport back into her kitchen. And we head over to see how those Valerian canapes are coming along. So without further ado, let's bring Matthew straight back onto cam. And you can finish off your recipe, Matthew, and tell us how are things going with the Valerian canapes.
All right. So I'm done with my portion, but Amy is going to assemble some.
Okay.
So
is this the best? I don't remember this. Okay.
I don't remember how we did it last season either, so we're rolling with it. Did we bring it close? There
I feel like I don't know. Was it here?
No, I don't
know. It was where it was, Amy.
Okay.
But I remember viewer feedback was that we needed to be able to see the food a little bit.
Yeah.
There we go. Perfect. And Matthew, I'm just going to excuse your name as well so people can see that clearly.
Yeah. So I've gone ahead and cut the cucumber. I don't know if you can see it for Amy, but I could have just used a vegetable peeler to get the skin off. You could use a spoon because this is so thin. Whoops, I should shut your fridge door.
Yeah.
But one of the tricks in the book is to use biscuit cutters, which I put them away. But, you know, if I was making itty bitty biscuits, you just do in the dough. So we're going to use this to make the cucumber perfectly round. So it's a little prettier because otherwise, if you're peeling, it's not going to be perfectly round. So this is the outside one. So you're just going to sort of center it, and it's basically just to get rid of the peel.
Are you sure it's okay? Yep. And then just smush?
Yep.
Oh.
And then what I do is I just pull that up or down.
Oh.
That works. And then
it's so cute.
Poke it out. And then to remove the seeds, we're going to use the tiny one.
Oh.
Uh-oh. There you go. Beautiful. So now you have a perfect ring.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Wow.
All right. So you're going to take your cracker.
Okay.
And the knife and put a thin layer of the mixture.
Oh, how thin?
That's fine, yeah.
Okay.
And then put that right on top. And I didn't seal the top of the bag, so it's going to come out a little bit. But if you want to pipe a little bit in the center, just know it's going to come out the top because I didn't seal it. And this was not the best piping tip. Okay. There we go. Oh, you could have done a lot more. That's okay though. Fix that just a little bit. All right. And then to make it nice and pretty, that's not enough. We're going to stick a little dill sprig in there, right on top. And that's all there is to it. We'll bring it closer.
Let's get a close-up on those.
And then, let's see.
Oh, beautiful. Higher, please. Yeah, that's great.
There they go. Now, the recipe or the book does say if you want to really make it fancy, put a dollop of caviar on top. I'm not a caviar fan, so we're just going to do it as is.
Ooh, I would enjoy caviar on
Okay,
this.
All right.
All right.
Shall we sample?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
Kapla or
Kapla.
cheers or whatever you would say for a canapé.
yeah.
All right.
Oh,
Yeah, make it one bite.
one bite. Mmm. The dill is really nice. There's something,
Mustard?
tart with it or
Mhm.
something.
Yeah, the mustard.
So
Oh,
are
yeah,
you,
that mustard
are you
is
getting
really
heat from the mustard?
No.
No.
I
just the
love
tart.
spicy things. It's funny. When I was tasting it, I was like, I wish this had some heat to it, but I want everything to have heat.
Hmm.
Remind me which mustard it is. Is it Dijon? Is it American mustard? Like, if you were using English mustard, you'd get the heat.
It's called Stone Ground.
Ah, grain
It's the
mustard.
mustard that has yeah, exactly. It's got the mustard seeds in it.
Yeah, so that'll be the tart quality
That's
rather
right.
than the heat.
That's right.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I taste the beet juice.
No, it's only 2 teaspoons.
Oh,
It's
okay.
I think it's more for coloring than anything else.
Yeah, I find that reassuring actually because I'm not the world's biggest fan of beetroot. So it's I would try those. I was curious earlier when I was asking how traditionally you're sticking to the recipe because I actually think it might look nicer if you can get like grated beetroot, much like you can get grated carrots for decoration. And so when you're sprinkling the dill over, a bit of sprinkled beetroot might look quite pretty there too.
Oh,
Definitely.
yeah.
This is the spoiler alert. 3rd or 4th recipe I've made out of this book. It's the first one I've liked. So what did we do? Oh, the meatballs were okay, but those I did not follow recipe from last season. I had to cut way back on the anchovies because when I did my test before, it was like all you could taste was anchovies, and I still thought it was potent, and I cut back a lot. This, no alterations. I might bump the mustard a little bit because I like mustard flavor because the butter is pretty prominent, actually, I think. The butter flavor, which is, I love butter, but I'd pump up the mustard just a hair. But yeah, basically as is, it's the first recipe of the 4 I've tried. I'm like, this is actually pretty good. I'd make it for friends.
Yeah, the crisp of the cucumber and the coolness really contrasts with the dryness of the cracker. I really like them. They're good.
Would they?
Well, you've got another 5 there to eat, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, this would go very nicely with the Klingon blood wine.
Okay.
Wow, lovely. Right,
So
okay, let's bring the guys in then, and let's chat about what you've made there. So let's welcome back Kristin and Tim. There we have it. We have our food, we have our wines, everything's good to go. Amy's had the best of both worlds in that she's got to eat and drink everything, and we just get to watch. So, Kristin, do you think you'll be making any Balerian canopies anytime soon? Oh, we can't hear you.
Oh, there we go. They do look really good. I'll have to get the little cutters for the I don't have those in my kitchen repertoire, and then I'll have to also have the patience to do that. So, question for those of us who are lazy and looking for maybe a shortcut: if we just threw a slice of cucumber on, would that still work?
I think you could.
Okay.
I'm assuming the reason is if the cucumber you've selected has a thicker skin, it's probably harder to bite cleanly into it.
Okay.
Whereas this, because it's just the flesh, you could make this a 2-bite thing, even though we shoved it out our mouths as 1 bite.
Yeah.
But other than that, I still think it would look pretty because it would be that nice dark green contrast to the pink mixture. But yeah, you could.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
I guess the seeds in the cucumber as well could potentially wet the cracker a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking with the cucumber, we could go old school 1970s and draw the fork down the peel to give it the stripe look and then cut the cucumbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or
That's
you could
my
make
generation.
You could make cucumber moons, I believe. So if you transversely cut down the middle and then scrape the seeds out with a teaspoon, then you could get 2 semicircles, put it together if you don't have to go through.
Interesting. Cool. No, but I too, Matthew, dill is my go-to whenever I'm like, this recipe is missing something. What is it missing? Dill is usually the answer for me. So
yeah, you would like it then. It's really good.
Good.
Yeah.
No, I will definitely be giving this a go. I too am not a big fan of beetroot, and as an Eastern European, that's like heresy to say.
Yes.
But it's just, I don't know, the taste is just a little bit too earthy for me, I think.
Sure.
So yeah.
I love beets.
What do you think, Tim?
I'm just number one impressed that Amy would put the Cabernet Sauvignon with it, because that's exactly what I was thinking.
Cool.
So
well, someone taught me well.
you've done well. Good job. No, that sounds like a really delicious little appetizer.
Yeah, and not a lot of ingredients, so very easy.
The hardest part is mashing the butter and the cream cheese together. I did it by hand, so I was getting a workout as y'all were doing it. But if you had a mixer, it would go faster.
Very good.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do those at my next party. Interesting you should say, Kristin, about the Eastern European element. With the dill, with the beetroot, I would possibly swap the cream cheese for soft goat's cheese and mix that, because beetroot and goat's cheese go really well together. So that's how I would fill it.
And that would help with the tang that I feel is missing.
Yeah. And then also for those of us who, or not me included, but for those who don't eat any animal product, I'm just going to throw in an alternative where you can actually make vegan cream cheese with tofu, lemon juice, and some nutritional yeast.
Awesome.
Oh, wow.
Together, and then you can use that as an alternative.
Nice. Good tip.
Love that. Love that. Wonderful. Matthew, thank you as always for coming on with the food, whetting our appetite, and giving us an opportunity to run Amy ragged around her own house. Always very, very entertaining. So, Amy, are you heading back over to the studio now?
Yes, I am.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you, Matthew. Thanks, guys. We'll see you a little later on in the show. Right. Okay. So while we just wait for Amy to show in, what a fantastic, great show we have had today. Bless you.
Okay.
The advantage of being live. It's there's no editing while you get yourself ready. Thank you, Amy. You've really done all the heavy lifting today. I've just sat here and gabbed, as Matthew would say.
It was so much fun. This was, one of the reasons why we started the Viewscreen was to hang out with all of our Trek friends. And so definitely did it for this week.
It certainly is. And what better in a daytime TV breakfast panel show than to have a cooking segment? So
yes.
Well done, Matthew, and well done, Tim, as well. Right, shall we have a look and see what we've got coming up next week? So next week, we are leaving the world of food and drink, and we are doing some cross-pollination and highlighting another Star Trek podcast out there. So from Hailing Frequencies Open podcast, we're welcoming Damien Effler onto the show, all the way from New York. He's going to be having a chat with us. And over from my neck of the woods, over here in the UK, I'm very excited for you guys all to meet Stevie Moore. He's our very own Vic Fontaine. He's a club singer, entertainer extraordinaire. So I look forward to welcoming Damien and Stevie onto the show next week for a chat.
Wow, that is sounding amazing. I cannot wait. A singer on our show. This is wonderful. Might have to do a little impromptu singing.
Hopefully. Maybe he's got a show reel. Maybe I can get something. We'll be engaging this week. Okay, well, let's bring everyone back on the screen just so we can say our fond farewells and a little bit of a roundup. Let's start with yourself, Matthew. Where can our viewers find you out on the interwebs if they want to say hi?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, Twitter. I will never call it X. I feel like there's something else. Just look for Food Replicator. I've had to spell it in creative ways, sometimes with zeros, sometimes with O's. But if you search Food Replicator, you'll find it.
Yes.
And Tim?
Actually, I'm an astronomer. So I have a astronomy podcast. It's called The Observer's Notebook. So if you're interested, I'm hitting 200 episodes coming up in a couple of weeks. So we're looking forward to that. It's through an organization I belong to called the Association of Lunar and Planetary Observers. I'm the associate director of that group. So if you like astronomy, pop over to the Observer's Notebook and give it a listen. I'd really appreciate it.
Wonderful. Thank you, Tim. All the best. And Kristin, as usual, where can we find you?
Of course, as always, on Instagram at kstrats. I am on the BQN Facebook. I still need to get on Discord. I say it every week and I never follow through. So I need somebody to like message me halfway through the week and be like, go, because it just goes by so fast. So anyway, I need someone to hold me accountable to get on Discord.
I'm on it.
Perfect. And then, of course, I am always on Reddit at user Garrick's Fan Club. There is a very interesting discussion on there right now about who is the best actor to have ever been on Trek.
Ooh.
So far, the first name that has been listed twice, the late, great Louise Fletcher.
Wow.
So if you have something to weigh in, pop over on Reddit and find that thread and start weighing in.
Lovely. Thank you, Kristin. We will see you next week.
Thank you.
Right. Well, thank you to all of our guests for coming on this week. Thank you to producer David in the background for making all the magic happen as usual, who's also had a very difficult week this week with all of the media content. So bless you, David. Thank you so much.
Yes. And a huge thank you to our Patreon members who support us financially. We thank you so much. And if you'd like to support us, go to patreon.com/BQN.
And if becoming a patron isn't your thing, please remember that you can still support our show by sharing our posts, adding some comments or content, or simply talking about them with your friends to tell them all about the Viewscreen.
Yes. And thank you, our online viewers. The chat was fun. And we thank those who are listening or watching us after on replay.
That's all we've got time for this week. So until we see you next week, thank you. And it's time to end transmission.